Hey, Dani, thanks for taking the time to talk to me today about you and your business. Really excited to dive into it. With that being said, can you give us a little bit of background about you and then how you got into your current consulting?
Hey, thank you so much, Eamon, for having me. I'm so excited to be here. Sure. I have spent the past decade plus in the marketing space in a lot of very different types of roles. So I started off my marketing career being plopped into it at the corporate executive board back when before that got absorbed into Gartner, doing best practice research, finding out what the biggest challenges the average CMO, high Fortune 500 CMO was facing every single day, and doing research to find who was solving that challenge and helping to translate that into what every company could learn from that and take away. And after a while of doing that, I got moved into a strategic advisory role where I was then kind of a marketing therapist, honestly, for the average CMO and talking to them about their individual problems, focusing on strategic planning, focusing on org structure and all kinds of different things. And after a while of doing that, I found my way into kind of startups, tech startups, and helping them build their marketing teams. And after a while of doing that, I decided, you know what? I really miss helping people and being a part of solving more puzzles. And so that's how I ended up becoming a consultant slash coach, but advisor more than anything.
It seems like your career was kind of tailor made, like the progression was kind of tailor made for it. Was there like a moment where you decided, hey, I'm just going to go do this for myself?
There was. It's funny because I always said I never wanted to have to constantly have to go find my lunch. So I never wanted to work on commission and constantly be applying basically for jobs or consulting or anything like that, trying to pitch and do things like that. So I never actually thought that this is something that I would be doing right now. And so after a while of being in corporate, and I had the privilege of actually working among a really incredible community of creative entrepreneurs at my most recent corporate role. And I was so inspired by all of these people, all these, especially women, working for themselves and doing the things that they love to do and finding ways of making a business doing what they love to do. And that really inspired me to say, okay, actually, you know what? This is something I could do. I even worked with a career coach to figure out what my next step would be because corporate just wasn't really fitting who I had become after, 15 plus 20 years, honestly, in my career at that point, and I wasn't sure what that was. And so after we really broke it down, we realized that I love helping people on a one-to-one basis. I love learning. I love sharing. I love solving problems. I love doing these things. And becoming an advisor and running my own business was the best way for me to be able to do that.
Amazing. Can you kind of tell us a little bit about how you're running your business now, like who your clients are, how you're helping them, all that good stuff?
Absolutely. I mean, a core tenet that I believe is that we're all too close to our own stuff. We all are too close to our own problems. We're all too close to our own voice. We're all too close to our own products. We're all too close to everything in order to really be able to see what makes us great. And that is 100% true for me too. I'm way too close to my own stuff. In fact, I really don't like doing my own marketing because I don't know how to find my own, like what makes me me. Um, but I help people who feel too close to their own stuff, whether they're big companies or solopreneurs, established founders, and helping them figure out what that next step is. So my average client is an established female founder, and I help most of my clients are in one of two camps. One of them is they're doing great, but they have something else that they just want to do, but they're not entirely sure how to make it happen. Like, who's the right client for it? What's the right message? How can they do their marketing? And I help come in and figure out, okay, well, given everything you are and what you want to do and what your goals are, let's figure that out. Or there are people who've been in business a little while, but haven't taken the time to really think about how the world around them or how they themselves have changed in their business. And I help redirect and envision and really find what that new looks like. Who are your new ideal clients? Or who are those existing clients? What do they need now? How does that translate into what you're offering them, and how does that translate into how you're talking to them, and how do we get in front of them so any of these people can be able to get back into the market faster and get to those goals at a higher, better rate.
Amazing. And we were introduced by, I think, one of your clients. So I have to ask, what's your focus when it comes to getting new clients? Is it just networking? Are you doing anything else to get new clients? Now you have to hunt your own lunch, so to speak. So
Yeah.
talk to me a little bit about that.
That's a great question. It's very funny being in marketing and knowing how many different funnel strategies there can be and ways of being able to capture leads and get leads and go out there. And I have become, and I've always known this, but it has become so apparent how customized your marketing strategy needs to be to you as a person. And I have come to learn that social media is not my jam. It is not for me. I'm actually a very introverted person, even though I can put it on if I have to. You can put me on stage and I'll do great. But I don't like being in front of virtual people. And so I've found that my best clients come from when I'm able to meet them one-to-one or be referred to them, where there's that level of trust. Because the type of work that I'm doing, where we're looking at who people now are as individuals, who their ideal clients are, it's a very personal thing. And so to be able to find and meet my clients on a one-to-one basis is and has been so valuable to me. I'm, always evolving, always finding new ways of being able to scale that. But right now, being able to network and create community and find clients through community has been the way that I've had the best success in my business with the way that I work with my clients. So it works for me. And so that's been my strategy. And it's been working better than when I try to force myself into other frameworks that just aren't necessarily for me and the type of business that I'm running, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it makes total sense. I would, referrals are the best
Mm,
way to meet people for sure. And then, yeah, I get what you're saying. You're marketing strategists, know everything about the different funnels, but it just doesn't necessarily fit for you. And I've felt a little bit of that on my own as well. So I'm glad that you said that.
yeah,
As
it can
far as
be
the
really
rest
hard.
of the business, do you have like a set of tools or systems that you're using to like actually deliver on the clients? Like what's your tech stack look like? Can we talk a little bit about that?
Ugh, I love a tech stack. I feel like it's not talked about enough what it's like to go from being in corporate, having access to all these enterprise level solutions, and then becoming a solopreneur and not having, enterprise level HubSpot with like all the bells and whistles and everything that you could ever imagine. And so learning how to build that tech stack has been a journey for me. And I think every year my tech stack has honestly completely reinvented itself. As far as delivering to my clients, I finally bit the bullet and I was like, you know what? Zoom is just making my life so much easier. I do a lot of virtual work with my clients. And to be able to have like the AI transcripting and the ability to have meeting notes and everything has been absolutely invaluable because sometimes I'm on Zoom with my clients for 4 hours at a time because of the way that we do our work. And so to have that is so valuable as far as returning the value to my clients. But my CRM is Moxie, which I found actually to be pretty good. I had moved over from HoneyBook and it's worked well for me. It's definitely not for people who don't have a very tech savvy bone in their body, which I like to think that I do. So that's made it very helpful, very handy to kind of dig into that. I use Riverside for my podcasts so that I can record them. I find it great when like from an AI perspective to break out the different clips and everything. I've tried a number of different things over the years, but I think the most valuable one that I've found has been my banking solution, which is Found, and NG, which in full transparency, they're one of my clients, but NG is a marketing planning tool, which actually is really helpful at being able to track your to-dos and keep you honest and keep you accountable and have your KPIs and everything there and even schedule everything. But I was using them before they became a client. I liked them so much that I'm starting to work with them now. So I think those are the big ones that I use. I have of course, ChatGPT and Perplexity. So I try everything because all my clients have all different things. And so it feels like my responsibility, honestly, to give everything a shot so that when people ask me for recommendations, I'm able to provide an informed one.
Yeah, that's a great point. Having a bunch of different clients using a bunch of different things definitely gets you a lot of experience with different tools and systems. But great to hear what you're actually using. I find myself switching probably more than I should as well. So I definitely can understand that. When it comes to your clients or just technology in general, there's been a lot of innovations, recently when it comes to the digital marketing revolution, a decade plus ago, and now AI. Like, what is what are you seeing that is changing the game now, either with you personally or with your clients? And how are you leveraging that?
I mean, I think we're in a really interesting place marketing wise when it comes to AI. And I think that's been one of the revelations I've had myself recently is actually seeing myself pull further away from leaning on ChatGPT for copywriting, leaning on it for marketing, leaning on it. Definitely should not lean on it for your strategy, please. Like you can ask it things, but don't have it create your strategy for you. But in this hunt for small businesses and entrepreneurs and founders to make things easy and make things productive, I think a lot of those have stripped a little bit of the soul. As much as we train it to sound like us, it's still not quite there. I'm not saying don't use it. I think 100% AI is completely changing the game and it's an important thing for people to know. But as far as a content creation tool, I am interested to see how we're able to take it and mold it, not lean too hard into it when
Mhm.
it's us that we're trying to be, right? Like it's still us. People are buying from us. We want them to want to buy from us. So that's kind of a storm that's been in my brain over especially the last couple of weeks. It's just been a very prescient conversation I've been having with myself. But other than that, I mean, a lot of my clients are just trying to figure out ways of getting in front of people. And I think it depends, right? It depends on what you're trying to do. And I know no one likes that answer, but that is a good strategy in a nutshell. Is like, what are you trying to do and what do you need to do it? I actually spent all last week attending the Guru conference and to just learn more about what is happening in email marketing right now because that's a wild west that's happening. And then before that was going to the marketing land by the marketing millennials and trying to figure out what are people talking about what's happening there. I'm always trying to see what's happening and there's just so much. But
Everything's probably all AI this, AI
it
that,
is.
right? And
It is.
well, I want to hear your take on it because basically what I got from your answer was AI is good for some, but you can't completely replace the human authenticity with it. So what's a good use case for a small, medium-sized business owner to be using AI for their marketing if they're not working with somebody like you? What's a good use case for it?
I mean, I think people that work with me, I spend a lot of time teaching and helping my clients train AI to think more like them and to better understand their business. And so they can have meaningful conversations with AI because I'm not always going to be there. And sometimes, let's be honest, we all need another brain to bounce things off of just to make us feel better about it. Unfortunately, AI will just say, that's great. And it's maybe not.
Yeah.
But as far as using AI, I think actually one tip, and it was a good one, I think, that I got from the session last week, and it's something that I've been doing, but I'll be doing it more, is asking AI to be your ideal client and to read your email or read your post in their with their eyes or in their context and give you feedback about it from their perspective. Are they taking away what they need to take away? So that way it is still your voice. It is still your content. It is still your ideas But you have that brain of being able to soft launch it to your ideal client or your ideal audience and have them give you feedback on the spot so you can make the tweaks yourself in a more informed way. Because if you're anything like me, you just sit there and you spiral on it for longer than you need to, which is usually a sign just like get it out. But it's still helpful to be able to do. So I think that's what I would recommend is use it as a brain to be your ideal clients more than as a brain to be a second you.
I like that. That's really good advice, actually. I haven't specifically tried that use case myself. I absolutely will now. So thank you for sharing. When it comes to your clients, do you ever encounter situations where you're telling them to do something and they don't necessarily want to do it? You know, it's the best like thing for them and their business. I'm sure based on that reaction, I'm sure that happens as it does to everyone. How do you navigate that? How do you deal with that, resistance to change, so to speak?
It's a great question. I would say out of the vast majority of my clients, there are three kinds of people and three kinds of things that I'm up against. One are the people that would rather just jump off a cliff than go to a networking event, which I'm like, well, it's a good way of being able to meet people and it's a good way to practice your pitch and get live feedback. So you got to do it. So I often make that homework for people and they don't want to. I'm like, you got to try it. You don't have to like it. Meet three people and you can leave. And so finding like, how can we mitigate the pain of things like that? The second group are people that do not want to be on social media. And I don't believe you should have to be on social media if you don't want to. But with some people's goals, if those are their goals, this is the best way for you to be able to get there. And so how do we get people to be on camera? How do we get people to show that they have something brilliant to say? They have something brilliant to offer. How do we get them to be able to do that at scale? And that often comes from really building self-confidence and helping them see what that little nugget of brilliance is that they have. And that comes down to the being too close to your own stuff. And that's, like I said, marketing therapist. Often we're talking through like, you're amazing. Trust me, it's only out there for 24 hours and then it's basically gone. Like you don't have to worry about it. It's fine. And then there's the third camp of people who are the ones who feel like they have to do everything. They have to be everywhere. They have to be everything all at once. And so it's actually the opposite of trying to convince them that you only really need to do a specific set of things and only do the things that directly tie to what your core objectives are so that you're only ever doing the things that move your needle. And so often comes down to like, okay, well, why do you feel like you need to have a LinkedIn newsletter and an email newsletter and you need to have social media posts 3 days a week and you have to have threads and you have to be on, all these different channels and TikTok and be in person. You have to be on stage and you have to go to conferences and you have to get published in articles through PR and what have you. And so how can we help it be less overwhelming? And so usually when we come up with a good list that feels doable, they just walk away feeling a little bit better and seeing the rationale behind doing what they have to do. So those are the three camps. So those are things that I often see people really pushing back on. And it is a lot of pseudo-therapy, if you will, to kind of get that forward. Because really the pain of same has to be greater than the pain of change. And so we have to figure out like, okay, well, why is what you're doing now not working? And how is that going to be better for you in the long run?
I like that. That's a great tagline. The pain of same needs to be greater than the pain of change. And marketing therapist, also a great tagline as well. I'm sure you
There was a
thought
moment where I almost named my business that, but I was like, no, I don't want to diminish real therapy, but it's close sometimes. I am not
yeah.
qualified, but it is close.
How do you measure success when you're working with your clients? Like, talk to me about that.
Success with my clients is all I want is for my clients to walk away feeling clarity. I like them walking away feeling confident, and I like them walking away feeling like I've got this. I think that to me is a successful client. I, for me, yeah, sure. It's about, I need to get paid, but if I could just work for free and help people, I would be thrilled. Honestly, I just love to be able to sit down and make things possible that people didn't necessarily feel was possible before. And that's to me what a successful client is someone who's like, you just helped me clear the cobwebs away and give me a map for the right direction I need to be going.
It's a great feeling, isn't it?
It is. It
I
really
love when
is.
clients say stuff like that. Makes it feel like everything's worth it. So that's great. I'm glad that you're getting that feedback. That's awesome. Danny, where do you see yourself in the next 6 to 12 months, you and your business? What's your ideal dream scenario?
That's a great question. I've been, at the end of the year, as we go into 2026, really thinking about what that is for me is exactly has been really on my mind. I'm actually in the process of realizing how important that community and the bring helping founders feel less alone, and how important that is to me. And so I'm actually just recently started pulling together some founders dinners, if you will, very small groups, like 6 or 7 people, to be able to sit down and actually have meaningful conversation. And so I've just found that, networking, yes, it is. As much as I make my clients go and do it, it is very overwhelming and it's a lot when you're walking to a room and there's 100 people there and you end up talking to that one person who just like, will not let you go. And you paid $40 for a ticket. It's like, blah. And so I want to create space where people can be comfortable. People can, find connections beyond just the, hi, I'm so and so, and this is what I do. And I feel that that is the best way of doing it. And so I'm hoping I can start launching more and more of those over the next year to be able to bring founders together while also simultaneously finding new ways to be able to help support even more established founders, helping them either launch something new or reevaluate, what their position currently is in the market. So if I can just keep doing what I'm doing and finding new ways of bringing people together in the next 6 to 12 months, I'll be happy.
That's I like that idea of founders dinners, vice the massive networking events. Yeah, really cool idea. If there's one thing, maybe like an obstacle or an opportunity to like hitting that goal that you could wave a magic wand and just make it true, like what would that be?
Well, the magic wand, marketing. Someone take my own marketing from me. I love helping other people with their marketing, but gosh, I don't like doing it myself. I think we're all bad at eating our own dog food. So I think I think if I could have another brain, I think we all just need another brain to talk to and figure it out. I think that that's my magic wand would be adding another person to be able to help me kind of take this to the next level, which is already on my mind. So it's coming soon to a theater near you.
Another person or another brain? Just like, have
To be determined. To
TBD?
be determined.
Got it. All right. Well, Danny, it's been great chatting. I've got to ask you one more thing. Like, if you could either talk to yourself a couple years ago or imagine somebody that's thinking about going off on their own, like what advice would you give that person?
I often say that I wish, now it's not, for me, it ended up working out. But I so wish that when I had first left corporate, I didn't feel so much like I had to do it all on my own in order to prove myself. I think I felt this like, if I can't do it all, then who am I to help somebody else? And so I really have a lot of moments where I wish that I had taken the opportunity to invest in bringing people on board to help me figure stuff out early on, so that I didn't spend forever spinning my wheels trying to figure out what good looked like, which good looks very different in an entrepreneur space than it did in corporate. And it definitely did from when I was, talking to big Fortune 500 companies, giving them advice. It's a different world. I don't have a team of 25 people to be able to figure this out. It's just me and my 25 hats. And so I think that is my biggest piece of advice. Now, granted, I will caveat that with having done that helped me better empathize in my role with other entrepreneurs who are in that same boat. And so I've learned a lot of lessons, and to be able to tell people, like, let me have done it for you so you don't have to do it. And so this is me telling you, you don't have to go through that. You too. Please don't. It's not worth it. It's very stressful.
Amazing. Amazing advice. All right, Danny, how can people find you if they hear this conversation, want to get your help, or you just connect with you individually?
Yeah, well, you're more than welcome to head to my website. I would love to just grab a coffee. Miseenplan.com, MISEENPLAN.com. You can find me on Instagram, and feel free to check out my podcast, which is called The Table. And it's a podcast for anything on entrepreneurship, marketing, and strategy. And I bring on a lot of amazing guests to talk about their specialization, especially in marketing. So would love to have you tune in and let me know what you think.
Amazing. Thanks so much, Dani. Appreciate your time.
Thank you for having me. It was great to chat, Eamon.